take these women that have 20, 30 bodies, but they're born again virgins. You need to take on these things that could hurt you very badly in the future. You could end up like those women could end up ruining your life, if you take it. But the church is really pushing for men to, save these women.
Mhm.
And so like, but there's not a lot of solutions outside of that. Like that's like one thing for these guys that are having a lot of trouble is save one of these women that are very damaged. Or you could take my route that I teach men, which is go and try to find younger, beautiful women that aren't damaged yet and ruined. Or you could try to the online dating, So I want to know what is y'all's number one strategy right now? What app are you using? Are you doing like, do you cold approach? Do you talk to guys in person?
Mhm.
Like how are y'all finding potential partners? Well, and we'll start with you this time,
Yeah.
actually.
So my approach, one thing I constantly have to remind myself is don't fall into lust because it's really easy to fall into lust. And also don't put your values on the back burner. Keep your values at the front of what you want your relationship to be based on. So you have to be picky about who you're talking to. I've tried dating apps and they just don't really work out well for me. So I like to meet people in person. I don't like being behind a screen because you don't really get to know someone that way and their how they act and the way they talk, and the like chemistry you have. You don't get that over text. I like to talk to people in person. You just have to be bold. You have to be confident. Um,
Do you go and approach men sometimes?
uh, Sometimes,
I'm
not
trying
very
I'm trying to
often.
tell women today you have
You have
to.
to.
If you want a good man, you have to
Absolutely.
pursue him for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. I get a little shy sometimes. I don't really like to go out of my way to do it just because I have like a fear of rejection. Um, but I do sometimes go out of my way to talk to men, and I think that's the best approach for me. Because then I'm pursuing someone that I'm potentially interested in instead of all these random people just coming up to me. Um, but I think that's the best way is to meet people in person.
So, but you've rejected a lot of men. You
Um,
fear rejection, but you've rejected a lot of
I'm
men.
just picky. I've been
Oh
single for
yeah.
so long that I have to be picky
Well,
now.
I gotta ask another question. So you brought up lust. Lust is a
Mhm.
big deal, but I gotta ask this. I looked at your Instagram profile,
Mhm.
and you have bikini pictures. Okay,
Yeah.
now as somebody that has that up, lust I believe is a two-way street. Like like yes, like you need to make sure that you're not being lustful, but
Mhm.
you don't want lustful. Like it says in the Bible, you don't want lustful eyes on you as
Yeah.
well. So why would you want to put up a picture that's going to bring those type of men?
Mhm.
Like those type of guys are going to see your profile.
Yeah.
So I give dating advice all the time. So I'm just going to say, if you want to attract a certain type of guy,
Mhm.
I'd highly suggest taking the pictures down.
Yeah.
And the only reason why is because you might be like luring in a certain type of person right now that's going to distract you from that man of God
Yeah.
that
I
that
definitely agree with you. For
that
sure.
I would see that and instantly walk
Are these
away.
not
Yeah.
conversations I have with you all the time that you
It's
refuse to
different
listen to
hearing
me
it from
on?
my uncle than
Well, yeah,
someone.
but see, that's the thing. Today, a lot of the younger generation, it's hard to listen to an uncle or a
Right.
dad
Mhm.
or something like that because there's like that with the internet. There's so many other opinions out there
Mhm.
that they're like, oh, well, my uncle's pigeonholed to only seeing this way, or my
Right.
dad's pigeonholed to only seeing
Mhm.
this way,
Right.
and you see all this other stuff, especially going to college and stuff. You see
Mhm.
all this other stuff, but when you hear it from me, a 31-year-old who's in a successful relationship
Mhm.
with a 23-year-old. I've had serious relationships. I've had 5 serious relationships. I've lived with every girl. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, and I'm a very strong, like moral, like I call myself a unicorn because I make a lot of money
You
and
are.
I also am loyal, and
Yeah.
that's an extremely rare thing.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, if you want to find a unicorn, a guy who makes good money and also is a man of God or is
Mhm.
loyal to you, you're gonna have to look at things a certain way, like taking the pictures
Yeah.
down.
I agree with that.
But yeah, I just wanted to. But I agree with you. Lust is really bad. I
It
like to
is.
like this last week. I asked on my show, what's the of the seven deadly sins? Which one is the one that's most prevalent? And most people said lust
Mhm.
because it is obviously one of the most
But
prevalent
we
today.
promote lust
Yes,
in
we
It
this
do.
is.
culture.
Yeah.
Well, it's marketed. It's not that we promote it. Everything always it always goes back to the dollars. Always go back to
Yeah.
money because think it's all about marketing. Like it all started with Vogue. It all started with these magazines being like, oh shit, if we tell these women
Sex
to do this
sells.
stuff, yeah, well, if we tell these women to do this, they're gonna buy more makeup. If we tell them to do this, they're gonna get their body
Mhm.
done. It's just all these industries that wanted to make more money,
Mhm.
and then the guys who own those industries, they knew if we tell the women these things, we'll make more money. Everything I never get mad about anything or point a specific finger about certain things because it's always money to me. It's always profit, especially as a business owner and somebody that's owned multiple businesses. I see it's very narcissistic because I always like to tell people that narcissism is the biggest trait in the United States, and the reason why is because you have to be a narcissist to make a product for $1 and sell it for 15.
Mhm.
And that's what every big company does. It's a super narcissistic thing, but that's what capitalism runs
Yeah.
on, narcissism. We wouldn't
I
have be where we are today if it
Yeah.
wasn't for that narcissism.
I'm actually going to disagree with you.
Okay.
And the reason why I disagree with you is because only 2% of the population are narcissists, true narcissists, where they
You're right.
live a lifestyle solely predicated on themselves.
Mhm.
But selfishness, yes. But narcissism, I'm not sure about
Well,
that.
like here's the thing. So the number one trait to any personality disorder, including narcissism, because it's just one of the many personality disorders, is that you can't. And I speak all this as a narcissist, as somebody that's actually diagnosed. And like the thing is, and the thing is, the number one trait of a narcissist is that you cannot be self-aware of it, and that's for any personality disorder. So
Right.
like I know what statistics you're talking about because I've read them all too. There's only 10% of people that are the borderline personality disorder. Like I've looked at all the, and what it comes out to is about a total of 30 to 35% of people have a personality disorder, but that's people who admitted to it. Those are
Right.
people that took a
Right. Well,
test.
good point.
Those are people that like took tests honestly at doctors'
Mhm.
offices. And the thing is if you have a true personality disorder, you don't answer honestly on
Yeah.
anything.
'Cause you don't
Yeah.
want to
You
admit
you
it.
cannot
Yeah.
accept your own,
Mhm.
and that's the
Well,
ego.
Yeah.
and
That's the
like
ego that we're all battling every day. And
Mhm.
some
you don't
people have a
even
harder battle than others.
Yeah.
you don't even consciously recognize it.
Yeah.
Like it's not even there. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're going to answer questions and you're answering questions based on what you think is right, not what is actually true.
Or who
Yeah.
you
Well,
want to be rather than who you actually
Well,
are.
well, well, we're all animals at the end of the day. We're 99% of our DNA is still chimpanzees.
Mhm.
So I'd like to say that we as humans we always try to act like we're so advanced and we're so smart. At the end of the day, we're mostly an animal
Mhm.
still. Like and we could try to act like we're stronger than our brain, our animal instincts. But I'd like to tell the guys all the time that I'm always mentoring. Like I have to have shit tests with my girlfriend all the time.
Yeah.
And constantly my animal instinct is to react back to her when she does certain things.
Yeah.
But you have to be stoic. You have
I
to
I
be
Mhm.
a
I
rock.
I think, for anybody that's watching this, if you want a good book on this topic to read, it's called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, a phenomenal book because all of this is based on our ego. You're saying like you do a test, you do a check, like she keeps you in check.
Mhm.
And that's good that you're doing that because you're recognizing I need to potentially put my ego aside so that this relationship can persist,
Mhm.
right? And so that's good that you're doing that.
Yeah.
But anybody that really wants to read about stoicism and get to know the self-awareness within themselves and know that their ego is the enemy and living life where you're constantly you get because I was that way, man. I didn't want to show my weakness per se. And now I'm so it's not even like vulnerability is preached, but it's not even me being vulnerable anymore. I just don't have anything to protect. I'm not living for myself anymore. I'm dead to myself.
Mhm.
Paul writes in Romans that we're dead to our flesh.
Mhm.
And so I don't have to protect this image of me anymore.
Mhm.
And so I get to live life that way. So, when I come on this podcast and I'm telling my friends, hey, I'm going to make myself an idiot tonight,
Mhm.
I don't care what people think,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, I live life that way.
Yeah.
And I know at the end of the day that my intentions are good and well intentioned so that I go into life giving people good instead of bad.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
and my hope is that the people around me hold me accountable, keep me responsible to my actions
Mhm.
because we don't have enough of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to hurt your feelings. Well, too bad.
Mhm.
Like too bad. Screw your
Yeah.
feelings.
Yes, I
Like
agree.
feelings are deceiving.
Yeah.
I want to go back to your question that you asked her
Yeah.
though about what qualities essentially that you set up for a relationship or whatever like
How you approach it.
yeah, how you approach it as a man. Here's the thing, dude, I've been on over 40 dates over the last year,
Mhm.
and I go up, Annalise, we were down at the bars last night.
Mhm.
I do not care.
He
I will
will go
go
up
up
to
to
anyone.
every single girl. I do not care. Rejection is the name of the game,
Mhm.
and be completely okay with rejection.
Yep.
And once you get past and that's the ego thing too,
Mhm.
right? It's like, oh, why would she deny me?
Mhm.
The ego gives you fear.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't have to be fearful anymore.
Mhm.
I can just go up and talk to any girl.
Mhm.
It's not that I'm a man whore or I'm looking for sex. No, I'm looking for relationship and I want to see if you can carry a conversation. So
Mhm.
I'm going to walk up like a gentleman and introduce myself. Hello, I'm Levi Brickley. I'm from southeastern Kansas. I'm a law enforcement officer, been doing it for 5 years. I come from a large family, blah 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 blah.
But
So
that's so
rejection.
unheard of now.
Yeah, but it's
It
also
shouldn't
awkward.
be.
I
It's
know,
so
it
sad. It
shouldn't be,
shouldn't
but
be.
it
Yeah.
It's
is.
also awkward because women,
Mhm.
a lot of women in this culture live a very surface level life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And well, a lot of men do too. So
Yeah.
don't take that wrong. This is 50-50. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
so like look at it subjective,
Mhm.
right? Is that so many people are living this very surface level life and can't understand the deeper meanings of what's going on in the world around them. They
Mhm.
Mhm.
can't understand it because they haven't articulated the thoughts to begin to understand it.
Yep.
And but another thing,
But you like
being
cold approach. I like knowing that you like cold
Mhm.
approach though. Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
yeah, what is there to fear? But another thing for all singles out there, this is the most important thing that you can do is write down a hierarchical list. Okay. So you write down 10 things that are important to you. And then you structure that with what is most important. What are you not willing to compromise on? And then you go down that list. It's not about setting your standards too high. It's about being aware where you can compromise. But I'll tell you this right now, as a Christian, I'm not compromising on a relationship with God.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You know, where does politics play into that? Because politics are huge in
Mhm.
relationships.
Yeah.
Where does that fall in? Maybe like 3 or 4. You know, attractiveness. I'm a dude. Like I'm not going to lie. I want an attractive woman.
Yeah.
You know, and not only like, and this probably comes back to that whole ego conversation. Is like I want to be able to walk in a room and everybody be like, damn, she's hot. And
Mhm.
I want to be able to think in the back of my mind, yeah, she's hot and she's a great woman.
Mhm.
And you don't get that side of her.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You just get to look.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
No, I, I
I
I
love
always
that
say
woman.
that's the number one thing. Like the whole reason why like I'm successful is because I always have a beautiful woman by my side. There's something about it
Yes.
that it attracts money to you, attracts business to you. Like
Mhm.
whenever you always have a beautiful girl by your side, you just get more opportunities in life. I don't know why. It's like
Mhm.
she's the diamond that attracts everything to me, kind of. I don't know. That's why I always feel like that's why I always surround myself with beautiful women too, because they attract money. They
Mhm.
they attract higher people of higher status every time. It's just how the
Mhm.
world works.